Welcome back to the Speed Sport live from Visions Off-Road 2023. We've got the winner of the Ultra 4400, Paul Wolff. What a crazy day. I mean, what a crazy season so far for you, but today especially was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. Get some redemption. The last race we had some part failures, and we were able to come out here and prove that we deserve to be on top, and we fought for it all day.
Well, not only you do that, let's talk a little bit about all the different aspects of racing you do and what got you to this point in Ultra 44.
Yeah, so we started out, go way back, rock bouncing. That's kind of where I started doing a lot of stuff, doing hill climbing. We did a little bit of that last night. If you want to get into that, we can.
Well, we will. Definitely going to go there.
Okay, and so getting into that, we took the 44 car and went hill climbing with it, which is a little bit different, but we come to race. Our number one goal is we're fans, but we all love racing, so we show up to race. We're here to support everybody else and all the other racing aspects, but anywhere we can sign up, we sign up and we race and push all of our cars to the limit.
Well, let's talk a little bit about last night. And, of course, what a crazy time over at Knockout Hill there, the Pro Rock Racing Series. Yeah. We had Mark Gomez doing backflips on a jet ski. I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
No, I haven't. I couldn't think he did like 10 or 15 in a row. I got dizzy watching him. I don't know how he was doing it.
Backflips, 360s. I mean, it's just insane. But then we got you lined up, and then you make your run. And what a unique hill that they had, the way that it was tiered out.
It was awesome, especially because you start into a draw, so you can't really double them. You have to work the gas and the brake because you don't want to send it and lawn dart the car, which I did. I can tell you how not to do that. But, on the bottom, you got to work the gas and the brake, and you're doing split seconds, you got to keep the tires on the ground to get momentum, for the next ledge.
Yeah, and if you don't have the tires contact, you're not getting forward momentum there. And we need to point also, if you didn't watch it last night, there was side-by-side a little bit of drag racing going on that way.
Yeah, there was a little bit of everything. So we did side-by-side up the hill. And then when you get the guy next to you, it adds a different aspect because now you're watching him and yourself. And if you're dead even, you want to push a little harder to get that edge. And then you'll overshoot something or mess up, which – I did a little stunt for anybody that's seen it or hasn't seen it. I did a little end over.
I think I saw the judges up there with 10s across the board there, little freestyle action. Rock bouncing freestyle. We're going to have to start something new there.
We will. It's I might opt out of it. It's expensive and it hurts. But it's really awesome though to see like our car. 4400 car, they're unlimited,
Yep.
and so with that, the car's built really well. We got some of the best safety devices, seats, and all that stuff in the car, which is able to survive the impact and then show up and race today. So really, really happy with all that stuff. They build an awesome car. Joe Thompson UFO built really strong, obviously. So it's really neat. So we went back, prepped the car. We actually just fixed a bunch of cosmetics. We broke the antenna off the top of it, just little things. And prepped the car.
Still had the satellite radio working, right? The FM wasn't there.
We did. It was Bluetooth. We were good.
Bluetooth, there you go.
So,
well, let's talk a little bit about the race today.
Okay.
A little bit of the rain. The skies opened up a little bit. And this definitely was one of the more technical. I know with King of the Hammers, Open, Legends of the Falls, you experienced it, but a lot of water running through there. But this, narrow trees running through there, and people were watching the drone footage, just had been blown away.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. And even as a driver, like you're running, and the number one rule when you run through trees is don't look at the trees. Because if you look at the trees, you're going to hit it.
Like a magnet.
Yeah, it'll just draw you into it. So you're trying to look way out in front of you. And then with the rain, added a new aspect because now you're running through mud. And so you're constantly getting a spray on your visor. And so you're trying to wipe it off as you're going through trees at 40, 50 mile an hour. And you got to keep the cars revved up so the steering pumps work. They're not like a normal SUV. They got to have a lot of RPM in the motor to keep the steering pump running.
Keep the pressure up.
Yeah, so you're always downshifting, upshifting because you don't want to hit the rev limiter either and hurt the motor. So you're really got to shift a lot in the trees to keep the car in the sweet spot.
And let's talk a little bit about that. What are the RPM ranges and what kind of horsepower with these motors you got to play with?
So our car is probably one of the, I'd say mid-range cars. It's not the top end, but it's about 800 horse at the crank. And then the RPM range, we hit the rev limiter around 7,000 RPMs. The converters, I got two different converters I run, 3 and 35. 35 for short course, 3 for woods course like this. So we had the 3000 stall in the car, and you're running. So you're trying to keep it in between about 3 and 6, I would say.
And that's your optimum horsepower range and
where the
performance.
It does really good. So with 800 horse, there's spots you can overpower the track. So you keep it down a little bit, 4,000, 5,000 RPMs. But then there's a spot you get out in them open fields, run her on up, 6,800, shift next gear.
And one of the things, too, you were talking about, everything seemed like it was going pretty well. And then you talked about all of a sudden you went to go, there's something wrong here, and, it was, you're not sure what it was, but it was coming from the car.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know at home, once we start running real hard, you can actually wear on the wheel bearings of the car, which causes your brakes to fade a little bit. And so initially I thought that's what was going on with the car. Maybe it's fading a little bit. Maybe I did something to a wheel bearing. And as I ran, the brakes kept getting worse and worse. And the pedal kept going away. And then it got to where I couldn't pump it back up. So I couldn't pump it and get any brakes. And so then I knew that something was really wrong with the car. And running through the tight trees, we ripped the antenna off the top of the car. And so then it ended up killing our radio communications. So I couldn't radio the pit to tell them, hey, I don't have brakes. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just running blind. I don't know where other guys are behind me. I know I haven't been physically passed yet. But every once in a while I could get glimpses of Vaughn, and so I knew he was close. And so I knew I had to just take the time, pull in the pit, talk verbally to my pit to tell them what was going on because I couldn't keep racing with no brakes. So I pulled in, flipped the visor up. They asked me. I told them what was going on with the car, took off, did another lap with no brakes. And so when you don't have brakes, you just downshift the car a lot. And then you swerve. You'll see me swerving through the fields, and that's the scrub speed off.
And it's got to be difficult going through the trees. I mean, to really watch and using a lot of the downshifting, you can't scrub through there.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I really had to slow up in certain sections, but and then I'd push anywhere it was, I say, safe, for a lack of better words, that I could push the car really hard. I pushed extremely hard with no brakes, and then to try to stay on pace with Vaughn. And I was able to keep him somewhat behind me, pulled back in, filled the brake fluid up, and we found the line was broke on the back of the car. So we took a pair of vice grips, crimped it off, zip tied them to the axle, and Vaughn got around me physically, pulled out behind him, and he actually started having issues, which helped me get around him and get a pass on him. So I got a pass on him, and then he come out right behind me, and we ran. I think it was the lap before the last lap. We ran around, and I was under the impression he was broke when I passed him. So I was pushing, but not crazy hard, and come around on the last lap, and we got to a point where I could see him, and he was right behind me. And I was like, oh, no, I got to go. I got to get a 30-second gap on him. So then we just kind of left all the cards on the table. Last lap, might as well just gamble and go for it. We want to win.
Did you get your communications back?
Never did.
So you had no idea. They couldn't tell you when you get close to them. And Vaughn's right on your butt. He's coming for you.
Oh yeah, it was neat. And we're running into lap traffic too on top of all this. So there'll be some good footage coming out of me pushing guys, getting behind them and pushing them out of my way.
And one of the great things, we had a lot of onboard footage that was coming into our live feed on that. And you're giving a lot of people some great views too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And it gives the people an idea of all the stuff going on in the car. So, me being a single seat, I got rags. I put them underneath my leg. I got a little bag of them. So I'm wiping my lens off, shifting the car, steering the car, pumping the brakes up, trying to make sure I'm staying on race course, and all this the whole time. You got rocks, 4-inch rocks flying at you from other cars if you're behind one. So you got all this stuff going on at one time, and you're trying to figure out where the guys behind you are, making sure they're not gaining on you.
Well, little birdie told me that apparently that your mic was stuck or whatever, so they were listening to you the entire time. I was just waiting to throw that one out on you.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether there's some censored stuff going on there. Or they might have thought you'd been a little nuts talking to yourself or talking to the car.
So I actually, it's funny you mentioned this. So I talk to myself in the car as I'm driving. It helps me process as a driver. And I didn't know the mic was stuck on, so I don't know anybody can hear me. And apparently they're listening to me the whole time. And then I checked the live feed camera and made sure it didn't have audio when they put it in the car. I said, hey, that doesn't got audio, does it? And they go, no, we can't hear nothing. I said, okay, cool. Because you get behind people and you use some choice words, we'll say, and it gets a little interesting.
Well, Paul, I got to say congratulations on the win. We appreciate it so much, you stopping by and talking to us. Folks, don't go anywhere. We got racing coming. We got a quick break, but we'll be back with more with Speed Sport Live from Visions 2023.